Have you ever watched a movie and just wondered, how do they make it look so cinematic? Well, that transformation from flat, kind of boring footage into something truly beautiful isn't magic. It's a very specific workflow, and today we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how to do it in Avid Media Composer. I mean, just look at that. The difference is night and day, right? On the left, everything feels flat, washed out, a little lifeless. But on the right, it just pops. It's got warmth, depth, and energy. That is the power of what we're talking about today. And I promise by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to get this result. But before we even touch a single tool, we need to get one thing straight. This is the golden rule, the most important concept in color. Think of it like a chef in a kitchen. You have to prep your ingredients before you start cooking the masterpiece. And in our world, that means correction always, and I mean always, comes before grading. So what's color correction? Well, this is the science part. It's all about fixing. We're not trying to be artistic yet. We're just trying to get a clean, neutral, and accurate image. We're fixing exposure issues, getting rid of weird color tints. Basically, we're building a perfect, solid foundation to work from. Then, once everything is fixed and looking perfect, we get to have fun. That's color grading. This is pure style, pure art. This is where you create that blockbuster teal and orange look or a moody, dramatic vibe. It's all about creating a feeling. But you can only do this effectively once that technical correction is locked in. Okay, so how do we start fixing things? Well, just like a doctor, you have to diagnose the patient first. We need to look at our image and read its vital signs. And to do that, we need some special tools that can see things our own eyes might miss. Which brings up a really important question. How do we see these vital signs accurately? Here's a little secret. Your eyes can and will lie to you. The light in your room, the settings on your monitor, it all affects what you see. That's why pros rely on technical scopes. There are diagnostic tools, and unlike our eyes, they don't lie. And our two best friends for this job are the Y waveform and the RGB parade. The Y waveform is all about luminance, brightness. Our goal is to get our darkest darks to sit right at 16 and our brightest whites around 235. That's the sweet spot for broadcast. Then you've got the RGB parade, which shows us the red, green, and blue levels separately. This is our secret weapon for getting perfect color balance. All right, so we know how to read the chart. But what's our surgical tool? In Avid Media Composer, the king is the curves tool. This thing is going to be our command center for pretty much everything. And inside this tool, the level of control is just insane. You've got a master curve for your overall brightness, and then individual curves for red, green, and blue. The best part? You can add up to 16 different control points to a single curve. That means you can make incredibly precise surgical adjustments. Now, don't let this line intimidate you. It's actually super simple. Think of it like this. The bottom left of the line is all your dark stuff, the shadows. The top right, that's your bright stuff, the highlights. You want to make the blacks darker? Just pull down on the bottom left. Brighter whites? Push up on the top right. It's honestly that intuitive. Okay, enough theory, let's get our hands dirty. We're going to walk through a simple professional workflow that you can use on literally any clip you ever work on. And just remember our mantra. First, we fix the brightness, then we balance the color. So, step A is all about luma, or in plain English, the brightness and contrast. We're going to use that master curve we just talked about to set our black and white points properly. Honestly, this one step alone will make your footage look 10 times better. Okay, first magic number, 16. We're going to look at our Y waveform scope, and we want to adjust our shadows so the very bottom of the waveform just kisses that 16 line. This gives us nice, rich, deep blacks that are perfectly safe for broadcast. And the second magic number for our whites is 235. Now, here's a little pro tip. It's totally okay if tiny little bright spots, like a reflection on metal or water, poke a little bit above 235. We call those specular highlights. We're mainly focused on getting the big areas of brightness to land right around that number. So here's exactly how we do it. First, get your Y waveform scope up on the screen. Second, click on the master curve. Now, grab that point in the bottom left corner and drag it to the right until the lowest part of your waveform hits 16. Then grab the top right point and pull it to the left until your highlights are tapping 235. And for a final touch, you can add a point right in the middle and give it a tiny push upwards to make the whole image just pop. Awesome! See? So much more depth and contrast already. The image has life now. Okay, on to step 2, color balance. The goal here is simple. We want to get rid of any weird color cast. We want our whites to be pure white, our grays to be neutral gray, and our blacks to be pure black. To do this, we switch our scope over to the RGB parade. This gives us 3 little waveforms, one for red, one for green, and one for blue. Now just look at it. Is the blue waveform sitting way higher than the other two? Well, guess what? Your shot has a blue cast. The fix is just as easy. Go to the blue curve and pull it down until all 3 waveforms are sitting at about the same level. It's that simple. And hey, if things start looking a little too colorful, you can always just dial back the master saturation a tiny bit. So now you have the fundamental professional workflow. You can stop right there and get amazing results. But I've got one more little pro tip for you that's going to make your life so much easier. What if I told you there's a setting you can turn on that basically tells you exactly what to do? It visually shows you the opposite colors right inside the Curves tool, which takes almost all the guesswork out of balancing your shot. It's called Chroma Curve Graphs. Turn this on, and suddenly your red curve will have a cyan background. Why? Because red and cyan are opposites. So if your image looks too cyan, you have this big, obvious visual reminder telling you, hey, push up the reds. To turn it on, just go to File, then Settings, then Correction, and check the box. Trust me, this is an absolute game changer. Look, if you forget everything else, just remember this one thing. Correction is fixing. Grading is styling. You have to fix the problems before you can start adding your creative style. Always fix first. Now, the best way to get good at this is to just do it. Get your hands on some raw, uncolored footage and practice. There are tons of great websites where you can download clips for free. Just get in there, play with the tools, and start training your eye. It's the only way to really master it. So, there you have it. You have the professional blueprint. You know how to read the scopes, how to fix your image, and how to build that perfect, clean canvas. The technical side is no longer a mystery. So now, the real question is, what are you going to create? What kind of story are you going to tell with color?